Hey, it's Llama here, and welcome to another in-between bit in my series preparing for Ark Survival Ascended. This is a bit of a catch-up video. So, in this I hatched the first Rex egg, we made some improvements to the base, I found another Rex with even better melee than the last one, and then raised a Baryonyx, which then helped me tame my first Basilosaurus. So, that's a lot to cram into one video, so we better get started. Okay, so this is the egg that we dropped on the beach just after we tamed those two Rexes in the last video. So, and we we laid this one before we brought them back as a bit of a safety contingency in case one of the Rexes died, which they didn't, so which is good. Let's see what we got. Hey, there we go, and twins, fantastic. All right, let's claim these two. See what we got, and we got the good health and the good melee. Nice. And these two are females, so we can use these to breed some more. So let's get these guys out, move this RG out of the way, get them out into the main area so we can start hand feeding them and start raising them. And so while we're doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the twin thing. So I've played a lot of PlayStation, like a lot, and obviously I'm playing on the Xbox now. I've not really played PC. I've sort of messed around on the PC version, but I haven't played it for any length of time. One thing that I have noticed is that on PlayStation, once upon a time, you used to get twins and triplets, and of mixed gender, so you could easily get yourself a mating pair of twins, one male, one female, with exactly the same stats, which is like the most awesome way of doing it. And I've definitely seen videos of people doing the same on PC. However, since Gen 2 released, or shortly after Gen 2 released, I stopped getting twins and triplets at all, like nothing. And I've bred a lot of dinos on the PlayStation, post Gen 2, pre as well, but and since then I've noticed not one twin, not one triplet. So on PlayStation, twins and triplets are like broken and don't work anymore. One of the good things I noticed when I moved over to Xbox was I started getting twins and triplets again. But the interesting thing is, you don't get mixed genders. So I've only ever had, like, if I get a male, I get two males. If I get females, I get two females, or I get three females. Or you never get like a male and female mating pair on Xbox. Now, I've not played, so I've only got like a couple of thousand hours on Xbox, but I've either been so unlucky, it's not funny, because I've had quite a lot of triplets and twins in the breeding that I've done on here. I've just never actually had mixed gender within there. So either I've been super unlucky or it's just not possible. Hopefully something that they fix with Ark Survival Ascended. Anyway, back to the video. So we've got our two Rexes raising. We're hand feeding them at the moment. The only issue I'm going to have is space. So once I start breeding Rexes, I'm going to run out of space real quickly. So we're going to have to look at expanding the base. Okay, just looking around, so this is sort of at the back of the base, and this is probably the only area, unless we're going to move, which I'm sort of a bit committed by now, this is probably the only area which we can expand into. It's not very level, so if we're going to expand the base here, it's going to be a pillar job. So I think it's time to get building. Okay, so in truth, this bit of the video was recorded around the time I edited this video rather than when the original video was recorded, so continuity breaks. Listen, if Gandalf can get away with wearing a wristwatch on Lord of the Rings, I can get away with this. So you'll notice I've built myself a bit of a water pen at the back, or at the front I should say. So we're going to need to raise some Basilosaurus imprinted ones to do the underwater caves. And we made ourselves an industrial cooker so we can make kibble a lot quicker. That's going to make a huge difference. And then here's our back area. So this is all complete now. Got a stairway up from inside, and we have this huge room which is now for raising and breeding. And you see we've got our Rexes there ready to pop out eggs. Up on the back wall here we've got some fridges for storing our cooked meat in, and then food troughs for whacking them in to feed babies once they hit that 10%. Now we also tamed another Baryonyx, so you'd remember the original Baryonyx tame. This guy is the one that we are breeding with that female. It has slightly better health. The female still has the best melee, the 348. So I bred these two together, and I got myself a baby which I raised and imprinted, and that's this guy here. Unfortunately didn't get the colours first go, but you can see I've already started to level this guy up, and this is the one we'll be taking to get ourselves a Basilo at some point in the near future. So there we go, that's the base update. Got a nice, oh actually I'll tell you what else, I got myself a nice outdoor balcony area, and I've also out here I actually whacked up some turrets because I was getting a lot of Ichthyornis, the seagulls, coming down and attacking like my RG and so on the roof while I was sort of just messing around in the base. So I whacked some turrets up and they'll take any of those little pests out. Nice. Anyway, that's the base. So what's next? Well, let's look in the fridge. There's a bit of a spoiler here. You can see I've got a pheromone from a Rhinognatha. I picked up, come across a low-level male in the swamp while I was looking for Baryonyx, and took one out and whacked that in the fridge, and we'll save that for later so we can get ourselves a decent speed flyer. Now here's the two Rexes. We raised these, and that's our twins that we hatched. And now we've got another egg, and we've got another Baryonyx egg as well on the go. You see, I've got all this cooked meat here now. Because we don't have any Maywings, then we have to take a slightly different course when it comes to raising. So I find the best way is to use cooked meat at this stage. We don't have tech troughs, so we don't have refrigerated tech troughs, so meat's going to spoil real quick, and in that case when we're using regular troughs, the best method is to use cooked meat because it doesn't spoil as quickly, so you can leave it in the trough and it will last longer. And in more news, we got ourselves a pink Baryonyx baby. So you'll notice I'm actually feeding this one, not feeding this one cooked meat, I'm feeding this one raw meat. So I find that when you're raising from baby to juvenile, so juvenile being when they'll finally get on a trough, I find raw meat is actually better. I think raw meat provides better food, like a better food value. So one bite of raw meat will give them more on their food stat than cooked meat. So when you're at that early stage when they won't take much in their inventory because their weight is so low, I find raw meat is the best way to do it. And then when they get a little bit older, they can carry more. You can start putting cooked meat into their inventory. If you're only raising one baby, put it in their inventory like all the way through. Don't even bother with troughs because As we know, carnivores have a lower spoil timer with meat in their inventory, so it will not spoil as quickly in their own inventory. But when you're raising like 5 or 6 Rexes or something like that, it's easier then to just have the one point where the food is, which is where the troughs really come in. Alright, so we've got our baryonyx raising, we've got our Rexes, we've got another egg, or another couple of eggs cooking. We've got a bit of hand feeding and nurturing to do. I'm not going to show that all in the video, so we'll cut here and see if we can find something a little bit more interesting to do. So here we are, we're back on Kino Island doing the laps, killing everything in sight, and look at that. 145 female Rex, we've got a male level 10, you can be meat. So let's try and kill this level 10. The females roaring at us. Is that the button? No. Okay. Alright, that's plan A out the window. Alright, so we're sort of at the other end of the island to the trap. So I'm going to try and lead, obviously the female's the one I want. I'm going to try and lead that up to the other end where the trap is. And while we're doing that, we'll see if we can take some chomps out of the male. Because we don't want the level 10, obviously. Whilst it might be the more colourful out of the two. So it's not going to have any decent stats. Alright, so the trap's just up there with it. Sort of, yeah, there we go, we can see it. Now I don't want to get them both up there, so let's see if we can take out this male now. If I can kill it, and then I can get the female to harvest the body, hopefully she will heal any damage that I'm doing to her while I'm biting the male. That's it, you all. Okay, it's dead. Don't harvest the body, so the Rex can. Perfect, there we go. Alright, now let's get her in the trap. Come on, keep following. That's it. Now I'm going to let her chomp on my backside while I do this. I've got plenty of health, so that's not really an issue. As long as we can get this within the first couple of passes, we'll be fine. Okay, give me a wide berth, get you to turn round. So just come up the ramp into the trap, that would be brilliant. Oh, did we get it? Oh, look at that, textbook trapping. Nice. Alright. So we're going to land up here on our little sort of shooting rock and we'll knock this girl out. Okay, so she started getting a bit hurt, so I switched to the trank darts like I did before, and now she should be close to knocking out. Just a couple more shots. There we go, and she's done. Excellent. 4, 6, 20 health. So I really wanted good health, and that is not good health. So highly unlikely she will tame him with anything decent on health with that base stat. That's a shame. Oh wow! Hey, look at the melee though. 245 melee. That's worth keeping. So let's get back to base and get some kibble. Alright, so kibble in hand, we can get this girl tamed up. So I'm really stoked with that 245. So if you recall from the other Rex taming video I did, the high melee one that I got came into 343 melee. That had 215 as a base. So this one's got 30 extra base points. So if I get a decent roll on this, this should be a really high melee Rex. It should tame in pretty much straight away. Excellent. You've tamed a Rex, I sure have. Alright, let's have a look and see what stats we got. What did we get? 349. Okay. Well, it's better. I suppose it's better than the last one. It's not as high as I was hoping for, but I suppose I can't complain. That's okay. We'll use that. It's a female and it's got higher melee. Okay, so again, we're jumping forward a little bit. We've raised our pink baryonyx. You can't really see the colour here, to be honest, underwater. This is the pink one, and we're now looking for Basilosaurus, and we are having the worst luck. Nothing like the Rex experience. This is, I'm finding nothing but level 10s and 15s and 20s. These are terrible. I'm out near Herbivore Island, so you can see this is the place with all the gates around it, but there's just enough space for me to hop out of the water when I need to, and then hop back in again. So you see these guys are surrounded by mantas, and I'll show you the tail spin. Here's the tail spin that the baryonyx does. This is why these guys are so good underwater. Notice everything just stops dead apart from the Basilo that's immune to it, because these guys are stunned. So I can just sit here and spin around on my tail, and this does damage to them as well, so you can see now I'm starting to kill them. If I wasn't able to do this, these things would just swarm me, and they do a remarkable amount of damage for little swimmers, little fish, and they don't get a pack buff, but they do a huge amount of damage, so very dangerous. But anyway, we're going to have to take out this level 10. I'm going to get rid of some of this weight, and I'm not taming this, so I'm not looking for a super high level 1 boss. It would be good. Initially, I'm just looking for anything that will get me around. The baryonyx is great, but it's very susceptible to jellyfish stings and eel shocks and so on and so forth. So I don't really want to be riding the baryonyx for too long. I just want to use it to get myself a Basilo. So we'll be looking for something that's a acceptable level, let's say. Level 10 is not it. So I'm going to kill this guy and keep looking. These guys are tanky. Oh, and they give oil. Excellent. Oil. I can always do with some oil. Okay, so it's now actually the next day. I'm back on the other baryonyx, not the pink one, just because it's been leveled more and it's safer. I've done a lot of trawling around under the water, and I've finally found a level 60 Basilo. Believe it or not, this is the best level I've found. I've killed like 30, and this guy we're going to tame. So I don't want to damage him by hitting him with a stun attack, but if I swim through him, the mantas will aggro on me and chase me. Oh, I don't want to hit him. So let's get a little bit further away. They will follow me, because they are now aggroed on me. Now, you definitely want to kill all the mantas in the area, because if you don't, you see how these are, some of them headed back towards him again. So when I kill these, those will aggro back on me again. Yep, that's it. Now, you need to kill all the mantas in the area, because if there's one even remotely close to this Basilosaurus, while you're taming it, they will group around it again. And then if you have to come up to feed it, because they're a passive tame, if you have to swim up to it to feed it, the manta will attack you, and they will shred your scuba suit very quickly, and you can end up deep underwater with no oxygen. And obviously they can just kill you anyway, so be very careful that you get rid of all the mantas in the area, and keep a watch out during the tame. If you see one hovering around nearby, just go and kill it. So these guys take exceptional kibble. Because this one's only a level 60, it will take 7 exceptional kibble to tame, even on 1 times, and will take 11 minutes, although 11 minutes when you're underwater feels like a lifetime. So it's a passive tame. There we go, just pop the kibble in your last slot and you can feed them, and then hop back on the barry and continue patrolling around and make sure nothing's going to come and interrupt your tame. Nothing really aggroes on the Basilo, so you've only got to worry about it getting attacked while you're near it, when things try and attack you. And obviously if something tries to attack you while you're near it and hit the Basilo, then it will interrupt the tame and reset it all back to 0. So you want to keep a reasonable distance. Oh, hit the world barrier. You want to keep a reasonable distance if you can, but just keep tracking them. Let's get ourselves a level on our berry. We've got a level 2. We're going to put that into level 90. Nice. Okay. So yeah, just keep tracking them. Put them on the tame tracker so you can keep an eye on them. They shouldn't wander away too far. They're not very fast moving. They'll go up and down, so sometimes they can go quite deep. If you're on the baryonyx, try and avoid following them down too deeply. Maybe wait for them to come back up a little bit, because down in the depths is where you're more likely to find things like eels that can shock you off your mount, and of course big things like mosas and tusos and stuff like that. You don't want to go anywhere near that kind of stuff. So just keep hovering around this guy, and then every 1 minute and 10 seconds or something like that, they need feeding. I tend to find the first feed is longer, although I haven't timed it out, but they tend to be, they feel like the first feed is longer, and then after that the feeds are a bit quicker in succession. Let's get rid of that guy. Not that he was any danger, but you could always drag something else in. Alright, so we might just skip a little bit here, and I'll bring you back when this guy is ready to tame. This isn't going to make very scintillating video if we have all 11 minutes here of footage. So I'm going to bring you back when this guy's on his last feed. Still not hungry? Okay, so we're on the last feed, and remember what I said about the first feed seems to take longer? The last feed feels like it does as well. I'm pretty sure it's not. Just when you get so close. And no, still not hungry, so maybe I'm just a little impatient. So we'll just wait for this guy to be ready to be fed, and then we've got ourselves a Basilo. Can't be long, surely. 1 minute 11 seconds in between. Hey, there we go. And we've got a Basilo. Sweet. Alright. Let him, they tend to, you tame them, they sort of, it's like they run away and then they come back because they're on follow. Okay, nice. Alright, so we did pre-craft a saddle, so we've got ourselves a saddle for this guy. We can whack the saddle on and then begin the swim home. So we're only on, again, we're still around near Herbivore Island, so we're not too far from the base. So we'll just put the Barry on follow, and off we go. We're on the Basilo because now we're a lot safer, so jellyfish can't sting us, eels can't shock us. As you can see, we're pretty close to where the base is, and we'll just head off. Bit of a shock there. Now this is good because we got the combo. Now I don't take the baryonyx out with me a lot, but to be fair, if this shark attacks me, you just watch the baryonyx. Baryonyx spins its tail, knocks out the shark, and then I can take it out with the Basilo. So you see the Barry does the stun, which is awesome. Okay, so let's get back to base. So there we go, bit of a catch-up video. So now I will be taking that Basilo out to go and get myself some decent level ones. That's going to take a long time, so I'm definitely not going to be putting that on video. But it's pretty much going to be much of the same, just taming higher levels than a level 60. And then when we get those together, then we need to breed them as quickly as possible so we can get imprinted, an imprinted Basilo for doing the underwater caves. Because next we're probably going to be looking looking at starting to do some artifact caves. So we've got our imprinted baryonyx, we've got ourselves a Basilo, so we can get hopefully get ourselves a breeding pair of Basilos and get something going there. We've got our Rexes on the go, so we'll just chip away, continuing to breed some Rexes, and it'll be cave time before you know it. So thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of this video, or at least enjoyed watching it. If you did, maybe leave us a like and subscribe if you like the content and you want to see more. Hopefully I'll catch you in the next video. So I'm Llama, and I'm out of here.